Okay, so we recently have been going over those bad reasons why people don't file for Social Security disability when they should. Um, some of these apply to SSI as well, but anyway, it stemmed from an article where I listed 9, and we were going through, and I think we've gone through. Well, at the time, right now, I think we've gone through the first 5 or 6. And then I added a 10 because someone brought it up. One of the viewers actually who said, "Hey, this is another one." I'm like, "You are so right." So we added that one. That was about veterans, actually. But here's another one that someone brought up. Some people don't apply because they don't think they know how. And maybe it's like I don't know. Is it like if any of you have done this, give me a comment as to what's going on in the mindset. They don't know how to do it, and I guess they don't know that they can get an attorney without having to come up with any money, and that it's all contingent and it's severely discounted and all that business. And maybe they think they have to do it on their own, and they don't know how to start. Now there had been a suggestion: can there be some sort of portal where it walks people through applying on their own? Well, that's actually what the SSA online system does. I mean, I have to say, it does a pretty good job. That doesn't mean you're going to know all of the answers properly, because if you don't know why they're asking for it, and that takes a little educating yourself as to the laws and the rules and the vocational issues and the medical issues that relate to evidence and all that. But walking you through and putting the questions there, it's pretty laid out. I mean, the application itself, and if you go to ssa.gov, that should get you, there'll be links and stuff, but that'll get you there. It does step by step have you do all the questions in order, and then you go to the next page. It's really not that complicated in terms of getting through it. Now, whether I like the substance of your answers is another thing. And as you know, if you know me, I'm always saying you really should have a lawyer or a skilled lawyer or a skilled non-attorney representative. Anyone who's very good at their job with it, I would say, regardless. And the price for each will be exactly the same. So maybe that makes you want to prefer a lawyer. Maybe it doesn't. But either way, the substance of the questions, there's going to be some that are just black and white. What's your date of birth? Then there's going to be others about that try to narrow down when the alleged onset is going to be. And that can be, and they have steps. They really do, I would say the online system walks you through. So you don't have to have some other portal doing it. They're going to walk you through. Now, granted, the SSA, some people apply over the phone and don't do it online. I don't recommend that one as much as doing it online, because when you do it online, you're going to get to a part where you submit it. It's going to say, "We recommend you print your answers or save them to your device." Don't be dumb. Do it. Because if you don't, you have no idea what you told them. None. And if there's something that should be changed later, let's say you get an attorney after you've already applied. Again, I don't recommend that. I think the attorney should be on board and doing it with you, or for you, is the way we do it. But there's no way to know what answers you put in at that juncture. So if you kept a copy of your receipt, which we should always do with something important, guys, always, always, always. And as I say elsewhere, keep a box or a file, but a box if you're not like a really astute filer, and put every document you send them or receive from them in that box. The alternative is, if you're, I don't know, technologically sophisticated enough, and you do this a lot, scan everything in to an electronic folder, save it in a few places on a few devices so it's secure, maybe on a thumb drive also, if you're not going to do the paper box, papers in a box thing, and keep copy of everything. It's worth its weight in gold in your case, particularly if you want someone to later on jump in and help you, because then they can see what exactly you said, and then they can take measures to fix things potentially, right? They can't do it if they don't know about it. Yeah, I prefer that online thing, because if you do it on phone, guess what? You got no copy of nothing. And I have seen many times where a claimant will say to me, I never said that to her on the phone, right? So, I don't know where they got that information. That's not so, and I didn't say it. There can be miscommunications, misunderstandings. Someone could mishear you. There's nothing you can do about it if you're on the phone with an SSA person. Remember, the SSA person is not your lawyer. They don't represent you, and they do not have a duty to advocate for your success in terms of prevailing as your attorney would. That is not to say they don't generally try to be helpful. And I've known many staffers at a field office who are very diligent, and they really want the person to have the best opportunity to prevail, and prevail with an onset date as early as appropriate. And then you have others that are not so much. So, you don't know who you're going to get. And therefore, I think it's better to do the online way. The most perfect way, of course, is having a representative who you give them all the data and they file it. They put it in for you. That way they can go over all these questions that you've, of the data you've given them. That's how we do it. I know a lot of practices don't do that. They'd rather you do it on your own. I just don't think that's the best practice. What else? The other way, there is a paper version of applying. If the internet is ever down and we need to get an application out super fast, or it's rejecting the person, it's not connecting with them somehow, like when we put their information in, we will do a paper just to make sure it's all in there. I don't think the field offices prefer that, and I understand that, because they have to recreate the wheel and now plug in I think they have to recreate the wheel and maybe type in all the information that we typed into the paper forms. But that's another avenue to do it also. We have all those paper forms as well. Again, we prefer the online. We get confirmation that they received it. That's all saved in your file. So it's very, I'm a very paper trail person. But if you are pro se, and that is what you're going to be doing, maybe you don't want an attorney, or you couldn't find one, maybe because they didn't think your case had the proper foundation yet, meaning you haven't really done some legwork maybe you need to have done. And usually that would involve medical treatment, but it could be something else. You can go to the ssa.gov website and you can file it yourself. I think, again, that it is a really, really well done site for the most part, considering the massive amount of information and diversities it's got to cover. So even when things are very unclear, and you can always, in the end remarks, say, I was unsure about this one. I didn't know what that meant. You can do that. I mean, put whatever you want in there. That's a CYA a bit also. But don't ever not apply. That would be a bad reason to apply, because you don't know how. There are so many, there are so many representatives now. I mean, compared to when I started a couple decades ago, we were more of a rare bunch, but now there's a ton of, non-attorney rep companies, and then law firms, or Social Security disability exclusive legal practices like my own that do this stuff. So unless you can't, you're not able to, you've tried, 4 or 5 attorneys and you find that they're not taking it, there's obviously then a reason for that. If it's only because of your age, keep looking. Call me. I know some lawyers will not take people under 50. I know some that won't take people under 55. So we don't do that. I hope I never have to do that, but you know, I'm trying to keep a balance so I don't end up doing that. So there are people who take the young folks. So don't let that dissuade you if you're under 49, say. If you what was I going to say? Oh, it was about if you keep getting the rejections, I hear the dogs. If you keep getting the rejections from, you know, representatives not willing to represent you, and you have to do it on your own, do it. Things can change, and you're never going to be able to win. And there is a date last insured. Remember, you have a DLI that will expire, and term insurance, Social Security disability, is similar to term insurance. You will start losing opportunity to win if you delay. And for SSI people, you're not going to have a time constraint in terms of insured status like the SSD people do. But for every month you don't apply, you lose potentially that month of benefits forever. There is no retroactivity. Okay. No retroactivity with SSI. And there is retroactivity to a certain extent with SSD. So SSD people, let's say you're like, oh, I don't know what to do. Go onto that SSA site, start the process, get to at least the point where you get a reentry number, and you've gotten yourself a protective filing. Then you have 6 months to figure it out. You can either finish it online or decide you're going to do it the paper way. And if you do it the paper way, you find all the documents you need, make sure you mail that. Can't emphasize this enough. Some form of tracking. Certified mail, return receipt requested. UPS, FedEx, what's the other one? DHL. I don't know what y'all have around you. Those are our big ones around here. Something with tracking so that you will have proof, and then you're going to go get your tracking. You're going to check your tracking, and you're going to print out a copy of whether it was delivered or not. If it wasn't, obviously you're going to mail it again. Certified mail return receipt requested is the U.S. Postal Service version. That is probably the cheapest. They use a green card system. So like you buy it, you have a receipt, but you're going to pay the extra for that return receipt, the green card. And that means the SSA has to sign it. They can't collect the mail. If they collect the mail, they have to sign that they collected it to the postal people. And then the postal people take that green card and they mail it back to you. So you have the SSA signature right there proving that they received it. I say that because sometimes these things, you send them regular mail, they get lost. You can't prove that you sent it. You can't prove that they received it. And then you have to send it in again. And now you have a new application date. It could be months later. And now you just lost back benefits should you win. So spend the extra few dollars for that. All right. At least that. And you'll be glad because you'll know they got it. You know, you can go to bed knowing that it's in. And, you know, if you don't hear something within a few weeks, you're going to start knock. Sometimes it's just a slow staff and you don't hear something for a few weeks. But if it goes more than that, there's a time when you have to start making your phone calls to the SSA, confirming whether they have it or not. Say that I have the receipt. So you received it. I need to know if it's in your system, if you've processed it yet. Do you need me to send another copy? Hopefully they don't. But make them do a little searching. It's not right for your case to ever lose you benefits because they didn't process something. So you want that protective filing. And so because the SSD is a 6-month protective filing, SSI is only 2 months, 60 days, I think. Very, very exacting dates. So you can't blow it. I wouldn't flirt with the deadline. So if you're, you know, deciding whether you're going to do it or getting your information together, don't take 6 months. Do it within 5. You know, be protective. Don't be a risk taker like that. All right, but you can do it. There's no reason not to file. Big bad reason number whatever 11 now that I don't know how to file. You can figure it out, and the SSA online way can help you, or you can do all the different documents on paper and mail them in. You can also do the phone, like I said, but don't prefer it. But if you have to, you have to, you know. Anyway, big bad reason doesn't exist. It's never a good reason to say I don't know how to do it. All right. SSA.gov. Bye, guys.